It says it's starting. Oh, we are live. Hello, everyone. We're doing a good job here for Arizona. Just letting you know, Norml in Arizona, we're back up. Getting a lot of good work done here, folks. We're going over the numbers here for the Recall Kimberly Yee campaign.
Yay!
Yeah, and hello to Tucson if you guys are watching. We were just talking about Rico. We've been authorized to call him Rico, and his name's Ricardo. Say it again, Scott.
Ricardo Pereira.
Pareda. I love it. I love it. And this man is our chairman, our PTSD vet. Thank you, Ricardo.
Committee.
Yes, for AVAC.
For AVAC. So we do want, though, to reach out to as many veterans associations as we can, obviously, and we don't want to wait we don't want to waste time, though, getting this thing filed and getting this petition active. So we've got to do both at the same time. We've got to make inroads, make contacts with veterans groups at the same time while we're getting this filing, starting the 120-day clock.
Nobody's waiting for anything. If you know something like, look at Chuck here, I know, what does he have? He's got a hat on that says Veterans for Peace. Chuck's going to reach out immediately. Every single one of you that has a group, like I'm talking LD20 Democrats, because I found them online. Every single group that we can reach out to, we need to reach out to. Go ahead, Chuck. What was that?
I already contacted him. Because before you couldn't officially do that. Remember that? I wasn't screaming, but you that were there, you remember.
Oh, yes. We've kept him quiet all weekend. We've kept Chuck quiet all weekend. It's been a big secret, and he's a good soldier. Yeah.
I was contacting him about the rally.
And it's
That's right.
Well, I'm waiting for him to turn my phone.
Okay, cool.
What about Wounded
We're
Warriors?
all waiting.
Anybody? Wounded Warriors? That seems like a really good one.
It's an awesome idea.
PTSD. I bring it up all the time. I don't know anybody at Wounded Warriors.
But he's going to email him this
know
week.
anybody like that?
I know he's going to email him this week.
What about media attention for somebody blocking medical research, despite what your opinion might be on the results?
Yeah, I said
Whether you support it or not, whatever. Why block research?
Well, yeah, that's
We need an
yeah.
That's right.
She won't give that answer. Her official reason is that two things. One, she thinks that marijuana, people who want to legalize marijuana for recreational use are somehow behind this.
Well,
And
how
it's a
would
trick.
that affect,
Which is
unless
crazy.
the results were something?
And two, she already has her heart set on using that $6 million to launch this ad campaign. Just say no,
Like
don't
Nancy
smoke
Reagan
weed.
did, which
Yeah,
escalated
exactly.
drug use.
So those are her
Absolutely.
official
Thank you.
reasons for blocking it.
Do we know if the stuff about her husband or whoever passed
It is
away
true,
is
yes.
true?
Yes.
What is that?
That is true.
Her husband or boyfriend, I don't know exactly or precisely what it is. But that there was a DUI accident, and the perpetrator was also imbibed in cannabis as well as alcohol. But nonetheless, there's an animosity. There's a direct animosity built on that. That's something that if we know that that's the case, that's something that we can act upon and we can help educate. It's not simply because that it was there. I mean, that person could have had something 3 weeks prior, and then all of a sudden they drank, and then they did something really stupid.
Can media on it?
We're just looking at the actual map of her district back there, and it starts on Dunlap Road, runs north up to Bell, 67th Ave over to I-17, and then there's this funny little section that's off to the east and northeast.
Do you have a PDF of that, sir? If you have some kind of picture, that's an actual picture.
We need a lot of Spanish.
It's not north, it's south.
Spanish. There's also a significant
We
Asian
need a map.
population up there. She's Asian. It's a good area. It's pretty dense. There's a lot of residential areas. It's commercial too, but there's a lot of residential neighborhoods. And I think that this has to be not only just up at Metro Center and whatever other restaurants, but I think this has to be a door-to-door campaign. This has to be door-to-door. Are you registered to vote? Would you sign this petition?
And Tom, a question that everyone's asking me. These District 20 voters, can we get them at other venues that aren't, do we have to be in District 20?
You do not, but most people aren't even going to know what their district is. They're not going to know I'm in District 20.
Right.
What you were saying.
So that's
why we need that map, sir, so that we can put it on the back of clipboards and we can hold it up and say, do you live here?
I just posted it to Facebook with the hashtag Norml.
Perfect, thank you.
So if you go on Twitter or Facebook right now and put hashtag Norml in Gilbert, it'll link you to the map.
Do Norml in Arizona too for me?
And I did Norml in Arizona.
Thank you,
Facebook.
awesome.
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 Thank you.
That's what I'm talking
Young people
about.
over here to network.
That's what I'm talking about. All of us working together. Hell yeah. Yeah, we have some unity. Cheers to unity. Working together as a cannabis community.
Well, that's right. What's going
We're starting now.
What's going
You're right, but I mean the night, the evening news. So
I think that what we have to do is get this file and get our.
Hold on, everybody.
official-
Everybody.
I think that we get this file, get our, what they call serial numbers, so that it becomes an official recall campaign. I think at that point, the media has to cover this.
Yeah,
They
once
have-
it's official.
Once it's
Right.
official, and we can, and the plan is to get that done by the end of the week.
So, all right, so I have a question and then questions. So one is, what kind of backing are we getting from Norml National? Like, it's from a resource perspective?
Well, we don't have any resource backing other than a very generous contribution that we might have to refund, because I don't think there's a filing fee. We were under the impression that there might be a $500 filing fee, and
We're just,
Jesse,
the two of us
Jesse
are,
Lopez.
we gotta give it up for
Jesse
Jesse
Lopez.
Lopez
Yeah,
for donating
Jesse
what we
Lopez
needed to get this
$500.
campaign started. Thank
I
you,
don't
Jesse.
think we need
Thank
that
you.
for the filing fee. Certainly, if you
Look at
wanted to devote that to, another use.
Getting the word out.
Little American flags, whatever it might be, getting the word out, advertisements, whatever, that's fine. Otherwise, as promised, of course, we would refund what we thought was a required filing fee. So, yeah.
So when I say resource, I don't mean just financial, but is there like someone that deals specifically with the media?
There is social media, they've already told
Yeah.
us that we can get in touch with them for that.
And
to
they'll
get a little-
promote this to their
definitely that.
social media, and they'll support this, and they'll provide whatever.
Do you know if those are paid social media campaigns, or is that just?
You know, at this
It's
point,
Eric Altieri, oh, sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead, Tom.
No, go ahead.
Eric Altieri is the guy that we've gotten in touch with, who I think I've seen him do phenomenal things so far in his tenure with Norml, but I don't know exactly what their program is, and if honestly we could get you in touch with them if you want to be on maybe the media part of this committee.
Yeah.
Because we are forming that committee
Well, I
tonight
think where
to get this
I think
thing
where
done.
she's heading is the obvious geo-targeting of people who live in District
Wait,
20.
no,
Yes.
that's something you and I discussed, but that was.
Yeah.
No, but that's a beautiful,
Yes.
obviously,
But from a
you know.
social media, because what it does is allows the people that are boots on the ground to have like a stronger impact, and hopefully the message will already come across everyone's, because whether you're Hispanic or you're Asian or, whatever, most people are using some form of social media. So to be able to harness that, but I think what I was interested in was sort of two things. One was just knowing what Norml was able to, like what they already had in place to be able to support a campaign like this, and then sort of like what Diane was saying, like I think this is going to turn into a huge national story, which is awesome. But I think everybody needs to have their place in regard to what the company line is, how everything's being presented, and make sure that we've got the backstory on the story. So when the media does come, we're able to give them the information they need to get the story out. But get the story out in our voice,
Being able to control,
not in the political
controlling
voice.
the message is a big deal.
I do want to get down to about 3 talking points. I mean, that's my suggestion for us in this campaign.
I kind of sort of try to do that with this statement that I put together today, where I just outlined PTSD, the anecdotal evidence, the need for scientific studies, the approval by the federal government, the overwhelming passage in the House, and then the desire by University of Arizona to do it, the continued refusal by the Department of Health Services to consider PTSD as a condition because there aren't any studies, and then leading up to Yee's unilateral, basically, destruction of that bill. That's the story, basically, in a nutshell of how we got to where we are. And I think that on this committee, as I said, it's required by state law that we have a chairman and a treasurer. But I mean, I think we should have we should have several other people who are willing to do this. A social media director. I'm happy to volunteer as a legal director for the campaign. And that's something we want to talk about too today, is get an idea of what we need to do to make this thing successful, to make this thing happen. And that's one great idea, is to have a social media director who's responsible for that end of things.
On that committee, yes.
But also understanding too, like, what are the resources? Like, so for example, so can we get, which adds a lot of credibility, like one of the deans from ASU who is going to be overseeing this, to be able to, we can tap him to be a voice in his
There's a doctor professor who's really big behind this thing that has done the proposal for the study at U of A.
The internationally renowned Dr. Sue Sisley is working with our chairman. Currently, she actually gave me him as a reference as an activist veteran. And that's why I recommended him as our chairman, and he has been very good to pick up the baton and say yes. So with those connections and her international connections, this is a coordinated effort in the state of Arizona that's pretty phenomenal.
So I think we need a social media person. We also need a lobbyist, for lack of a better term, because I think that ultimately this Yee is under the control of some kind of leadership in the Senate. The president, the majority whip, that kind of thing. If this becomes damaging enough to Yee, it's going to spill over and affect other public perception of the Senate, Republican-controlled Senate, and there may be enough pressure to bring to bear that they end up basically telling Yee she's got to schedule this and put this on the agenda. And we may want to consider, if that happens, this is politics. We may want to consider at that point, if you make that happen, then we will withdraw the recall petition. I mean, we may want to be, so we need someone who can be in touch with on a regular basis, not only or in the House and his people that brought this to the Senate, but also the leadership in the Senate who might be able to help us just fix this. And we win either way. We declare a victory either way. If we're the ones who brought the political pressure to bear and get them to reconsider, then great. But we need someone for that.
Scott's got his hand up. He just talked to Ethan yesterday.
I basically live at the state legislature.
Yeah, he's down there.
I'm with Students for Sensible Drug Policy, and I basically had to drop out of school this semester because I'm being prosecuted for marijuana possession. And so all the money I saved for I pay my own way through school. So all the money that I was supposed to be for my tuition is now being used to keep me out of jail. So what I do with my time is go to the state capitol and try and talk reason to these people. So if you're looking for media attention to get people to pay attention to the fact that you're launching this recall effort, you all know, I'm sure, about the rally at the state capitol next Wednesday. I'm working with Ricardo, who sounds like he's going to be your chairperson for AVAC, and Dr. Sisley, who has been supporting me personally for the last couple of years, and me reciprocally with her. We already have Veterans for Choice, DPA, Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. They're all with us and going to sign our press release for this rally. So if you and you can tell everyone that you know to come to this rally next Wednesday, show up with signs that say Recall Yee or whatever you want it to be. Make up your own hashtag, whatever it is. Whoever because I'm not in Norml, so whoever your media person is, make sure that they know who I am, because we've already started this. And so,
our media person does know right now we're building a new media team, and as you know, I've been doing the best I can to share. So let's share and share alike, my friend, and let's just get this done.
I think that Students for Sensible Drug Policy and Norml should be hand in hand on this.
Seamlessly.
And so I would recommend that you be identified as the Norml / Students for Sensible Drug Policy legislative relations person, liaison.
We can call him AVAC.
For AVAC, Arizona Veterans Assistance Committee, because it's not just a Norml thing, and we absolutely, Norml, I think I can speak to Norml, would absolutely like to make this a co committee with Students for Sensible Drug Policy and Norml.
I
and
would agree-
safer in
I would agree
every
to do that on
single
one condition.
organization in town.
The condition
And
would be that
state.
there be somebody from Norml who partners with me that I can train and give them all the information that I have, so that
I'll do
I'm not
that.
up there by myself.
Okay,
Wow.
great, so.
Look at this young lady in the front.
I'll do that.
And get with these two, because it's
Let's
another
take that.
lobbyist right here.
We should take down some names, I don't have anything to write on.
Everybody who's committing to coordinate with each other, be sure to get with each other and get each other's contacts
Okay.
after. Come to us and let's get your contacts and know what you're doing
Student
as a
percent
committee.
for
We want to
drug
set
policy.
up this committee and know who's doing what.
What's your name again?
My name is Scott Cecil, and I'm actually on the board of directors. We're the largest student-led grassroots North organization in the country, and we're working.
Do you know Lucas Pelican?
What's that?
Lucas Pelican?
Yeah,
Thanks,
up at NAU.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, here
He'll
we
be
go.
down here on
NAU.
Wednesday. He's going to be filming the rally.
Oh,
so-
good.
Beautiful.
He's a friend of mine. What's your contact?
You can reach me at Scott, and anyone, please write this down, scott@ssdp.org. My name is Scott, SCOTT, Cecil, CECIL.
And this is for the legislative,
That guy.
Scott@ssdp.org.
and our normal, liaison is
Oh, Rick.
Lovey,
Oh, Lovey.
Lovey.
Yes, Lovey
Lovey.
is Secretary of State.
and,
But I'm totally willing to coordinate with Scott.
okay, you guys already have each other's contacts?
We'll get it. Yeah, I'll get it.
Okay, all
I'm
right.
wonderful.
Wonderful.
Oh,
Please.
beautiful.
Perfect. Anyone.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Media, social media coordinator. I'm sorry, brother, I'll get right to you.
Look at that.
I was
Okay.
taking that one as well.
And your name again is
Darren Babbitt.
Darren Babbitt, and I guess an email address so we can put you in. We'll get a listserv thing, get it going.
And that'll be the kickoff to us working together with our networking, because I want you to have
Okay.
our contacts, our
do you
everything
have
for
his
that.
contact?
Yes.
Get
What did
this
Diane,
out
what did you
there, you
No,
know.
it's him.
I'm gonna work
Well, I didn't know if you were doing this together.
She's gonna work with on the
Work with
legislative
Scott?
relations the other day. Email or?
Yeah. You can use Darren at cannabisradio.com.
Darren at Cannabis.
Yeah, brother.
Is there a way that we can track
Oh, the cat's
what
here.
neighborhoods we've hit, what areas we've hit, so we're not, we're such limited time, so
Yeah,
that we're not like hitting the same houses twice?
that's
Yes,
that's
it's a great idea.
When we
critical.
do
That's
a door-to-door, yes, when we
So
set
who-
up that door-to-door, we will definitely knock down those neighborhoods.
Does it need to be physical signatures, or
That's
can
a
you?
great idea.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll kind of put a marker over the areas that we've actually done, the neighborhoods that we've done.
You know,
And
there's
they
no-
have to physically be in.
Yeah, is there specified forms?
Yeah, they'll give us forms that we then reproduce.
But it can't be like e-documents, like people can't e-sign.
Has to be original signature.
Yeah,
bring it
original
hard copy.
signatures
This
always.
is so
Thomas, don't have that.
19th century.
Yeah. this one.
There's a point I want to make. I'm looking here at the Veterans Association, basically a list of 5 veterans healthcare clinics in Northwest Phoenix.
Nice.
So just that alone tells you, like, if you target those
Brilliant.
5 clinics,
Yeah.
you'll get your signatures. You will get them. I mean, it's
I'll spend a
like,
day outside
it's
of work.
guaranteed you will get your signatures, and then you will have to pass it. There are enough people that pass through there, they're coming, they're voters, they will care about PTSD. They live and breathe it. You can have it there.
Excellent.
30 people.
Do you hear
like
that,
100
Peoria group?
signatures a week.
Everybody? Yep, Peoria, all of
That's
us,
what we need.
all of us, we're all over there.
30 people, like 100 signatures for 4 months.
With this research, because it was shot down as a medical condition the first part of January, right, by Howard?
For the second time, I think. It
But
was
the research, did that come on the
PTSD,
heels of
yeah.
this, the University of Arizona study, to prove it? Because in his blog, he says, it didn't approve the petition because of the lack of published data
Right.
regarding the risks and benefits of using cannabis.
Exactly. So that's why, this study was an answer to those.
Right.
They're not just this year, but I believe it was the same answer last year when this condition was brought in 2012 and 2013. So, this was an answer to that where, okay, fine, we'll do the study, and they're like, oh, you're not going to do it. So that's the.
It's
They've been trying to do it for a
anti-medical.
while.
It's really troubling, just without even taking off any eyes about cannabis, right? It's anti-medical, literally in the sense that what if cannabis is useless for PTSD. Shouldn't we know that?
Yeah.
Shouldn't we have a study that tells us?
Right.
We don't know that.
That's right. And
That's what Diane said. I like that argument.
Yeah.
I really like that argument.
No, probably it is beneficial, and they don't want that study to take place. It's almost a first amendment type of issue where they want to stifle
it's
information.
It's at best, you use the word mean-spirited, right?
Yeah.
That's almost at best, it's mean-spirited. It's anti-scientific. What we should know. If it works for it, we should know. If it doesn't work for it, we should know.
Well, we study plenty of narcotics.
Interestingly enough,
We
there's
study
been
lots of
studies currently funded by the government to see the reaction in mice' brains for sugar.
Serious.
Come to find out, the same chemical
It's like
reaction
plotting
happens with sugar that would happen with cocaine.
We'll
They
plot in a
would
little
know
while. We'll
that,
turn them off.
We'll
We'll let them stay for a little while, and then we'll get to the good stuff. We'll shut it off.
We're not even asking them to fund it.
They should.
We have the means to take them now, we just want them to allow.
Down the,
I think
no,
it's
The
just
every.
right.
hurdles
gonna
that
be
we have in
unified
front of us
plan.
are just silly hurdles.
All the hurdles were cleared except for this one person. It's just literally this one person
And she's
that
real little.
is.
Yeah.
Any other ideas about, in terms of important leadership positions in this committee and in this recall initiative? We've got social media, we've got the chairman,
Secretary.
I was just thinking the secretary,
Yeah.
somebody needs to shuffle
Like a
papers.
communication, like a
keep track of where people have gone in the neighborhoods and who's
Yeah,
been
and
in the
who's
I'll do
got
that.
what meeting, and where
I'd be
everything
happy
is
to
in
do
the
that.
process, so nothing falls through the
I
cracks.
want to be on
volunteering.
this committee with these people.
Kathy's volunteering.
I'll be a secretary. I'll find out, I'll figure out those neighborhoods, make sure that we don't go over the same neighborhoods too.
Yeah.
I like doing stuff. I don't like to waste people's time.
Any suggestions on treasurer?
What was that?
Treasurer, do we have any ideas about?
Oh, I lost my one treasure idea to social media. Oh, look at Robert.
Robert Berman.
Yeah. All right. There he is. We're picking it up again.
Who else, what other positions would we need? Legal, me, got me on legal. What
We
else?
could use a website
Volunteer
for this,
coordinator.
but that's social media, but I don't know. We could use a couple of people.
Fundraising.
Like
You know, I mean,
like
it
an
would be,
extra website.
Well,
Probably nice to pay for transportation for those that couldn't go and flex it.
we may want to
He's
put on
not
an
taking
event.
it.
I mean,
He's
I
not
think
taking
that,
it.
I do think that this is the kind of issue that would attract people who want to make
That wanna fund it,
donations,
yeah.
that want to fund it. That's the treasurer though, I mean, that's kind of the
Like a
treasurer.
fundraiser-ish? Is that what we're
I
talking about?
think,
Okay. So we're talking about a website too.
okay, that's maybe like a thing that falls on a couple different things. Any other broad category though that we might be missing?
Oh, promotion, getting some flyers out there. I mean, there's social media. There's also physical promotion. What about that? Getting in touch with, what about getting in touch, media
The
relations?
New Times, media relations, that's an important.
Communications and media.
Okay, great. Who's up for that?
Anyone, media relations? Yeah,
Who's
I
gonna talk to the
tried.
media about this?
I will.
She's getting in there. She's diving in.
Okay, cool.
Media it
If I
up.
had more time, I would volunteer for that.
And naturally, our chairperson, he will be honestly the face of it, but getting them to our things and letting them know about our stuff.
So.
Because we want to use that great, he's a great speaker. He really is.
Yeah, no, he's.
Scott,
I'm like totally the student, right? I don't raise my hand.
you are the student.
I absolutely love Ricardo. I have an immense respect for him. I was at the Capitol with him yesterday. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but
Talking about you,
just as
Ricardo.
a suggestion as an outside observer, it has no reflection on Ricardo, but perhaps he should have a co-chair because he lives in Tucson.
Oh, I know.
So that
I
creates
gotcha.
two problems. One, he's in Tucson, and number two, opponents of this could delegitimize the effort if they're saying, well, the person who's running it's not even in Phoenix, and he doesn't even live in her district.
Right.
So I think if you can find, especially a veteran who lives in the district, to be a co-chair with him, even if it's only symbolic, it'll really help insulate you from being attacked from the outside.
It wouldn't be terribly symbolic because we would need their good work. So we do need a co-chair, a veteran that's able to do a little co-chair work here in Capital City area because our chair is in Tucson. So we would love to have a co-chair. That's a vet. If anybody knows someone, an educator, a vet, a doctor, any of those kind of people that really believe in this cause, we could use you right now as a co-chair to put your name on this. And we don't we don't have a oh, no, we have Robert is stepping up as treasurer. And what was the other idea I had about him being down there? Gosh, there was something else. That'll come back. Anyone else? Oh, we got promotion. Okay,
Any
so
other ideas,
you're reaching out
questions,
to the
comments?
media.
If
From
you
our
ever
esteemed
heard
audience.
about the wounded veterans.
Wounded warriors, yeah. Wounded
Billy,
warriors.
did you talk about that?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to be gained right there.
Yeah.
There's an
I've
awful lot.
known 4 or 5 people that have right out of the military, right to the wounded warriors. And that was how they found their solace. That's how they found their work.
Yeah.
You know, and it's such a beautiful outreach program. And there's absolutely no way that there isn't people right now suffering from PTSD that are in the wounded warriors that are also utilizing cannabis or would like to utilize cannabis to treat their PTSD.
We know several people that are heavily involved in the Wounded Warriors project, so definitely get the word over to them and get them involved. Majority of my staff is a vapor lounge, which is part of the Wounded Warrior project. They're all up there.
Oh,
Perfect.
that's perfect, yeah.
So are you open now, sir? When are you opening?
My lawyer won't let me do anything.
Not yet? Not yet. Just let us know when the Vapor Lounge opens back up, sir. Wondering. Well, everybody wants to know. Everybody's asking me. So.
There needs to be, like, so let me ask you a question. Would your role as secretary be the person that's also aggregating, like, the media list, the contacts with the other associated, like, charities and groups and what have you? Like,
well,
somebody needs to be, like, that's a pain in the neck thing to do.
Well, I could use another secretary. I mean, 2 of us could work really well together, especially considering your husband's working on this campaign. He's going to be involved.
You don't want me to be secretary. The only place that I would probably be very good, I don't write anything down. I sit in meetings and anticipate that everybody else will take.
Do you see me? I'm the secretary here at Norml and Gilbert. I'm not writing anything. Both of these guys are writing, and I'm sitting here.
So horrible.
I'm bad too. I'm bad too.
Really good.
We make things happen. We get them going.
Like, I mean,
We show up.
Yeah, so the things that I could probably be really good at is helping to give some media direction. If we need to have, like, some serious conversations with media outlets, making sure that our messaging is direct and clear. Like,
She
I
could be our
think-
PR
We
girl.
are.
If you could be media
coach, you're welcome to. Yes. Like,
Because it's great to have a second voice.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if you need, I've definitely had some orientation when it comes to some political types in the past. So if you want some help, speaking to people, et cetera, et cetera. And if we also need a list of, like, what our gives are, like where we're standing firm and when it's an and like you said, they come back and they say, hey, this isn't just, this is a group of, she's being put out in front because she's getting something else that she wants on top of maybe this is something that's close to her heart. But I mean, I think we need to know where we're going to push, and then when we're going to put up the white flag and say, okay, like this is where the breaking point for us.
I think if her committee is my suggestion is if Kimberly Yee's committee, education committee, agrees to schedule it as an agenda item, and if it gets through committee to the Senate floor, I think at that point we're willing to say we will back down.
Through committee.
If it gets through committee to the Senate floor, because she chairs that committee. If it doesn't get through that committee, then that's her fault, and we're still going to recall
It
it.
has to get to a position where he only has 1 vote.
But where it's voted to the Senate floor.
The democratic
If they bring it to
process
vote, if the
needs to be
Senate
brought
votes as a whole, votes it down.
That's right. That
okay,
we're
fine.
cool. That
Democratic
we're cool.
process prevails, but
Yeah.
it has to go
Democratic
to vote
process.
in the Senate for us to
Votes of the people.
to withdraw the recall.
Everyone.
campaign. That's
Not just
that's
you.
what I think.
One person should not monopolize.
Right.
the
One
process.
person
The
should not
international
monopolize the
page,
process.
so NPR had this on, that we're being blocked. Did you guys know that?
It's
NPR had
Wanted
it on,
to
we
let her
blocked.
know.
the anti-democratic
She
part of
won't
this
sit down with
is
me.
what's
So
I think most offensive. The medical marijuana thing makes it sexy, gives it legs, but the anti-democratic aspect of it is what is so offensive to
absolutely.
anybody who's
Absolutely.
Right.
Whether you agree or you don't.
Yeah.
Right. How about this statement when she did that, the next statement in the morning with NPR is, Really, Arizona, again?
Right.
You know, and that's embarrassing.
It is
So it's not for me, but it's for Kimberly Yee. I would hope that she's embarrassed. And especially someone who didn't vote on her own, for whatever reason that we talked about stuff. And she didn't vote on her own bill.
Oh, on the hemp bill?
That day. It was really funny to watch that. I think she was waiting for us to leave. But she didn't vote. It was weird. Please don't be offended, by the way, everybody, when you're calling a senator or somebody from the House, whatever. They will not sometimes call you back. You need to call them back. They are bombarded by groups like us, by other groups. So I am respectful in that point that Billy, you were there. He's laughing. Billy bombarded. Gosh. So just don't be embarrassed or don't be shy and talk to people who you know when it comes to the this bill or to this presence, what we're trying to do today. Is it where I feel that we're not, I mean, bring this to me. I don't feel that we're doing this in vengeance. I feel we're doing this for knowledge.
Yes.
And I feel that we're doing this for healing future.
It has to be done.
If that is to be. And if it's not, if it's without marijuana, fine. But if it's marijuana, then let it be. So that's, I want people to know that.
The research helps just one. And it's not just about Kimberly Yee. It's about her whole groupthink of Bill Montgomery, Tom Horn, Sheila Polk, and the rest of this, you know, insulated gang of people who are viciously anti-medical marijuana. It's about making them, sending a message to them that makes it clear they're going to be held accountable for engaging in these anti-democratic, I mean, this is a state law, the Medical Marijuana Act. Their job is to implement and protect this law. And instead, they're doing everything, spending their budgets and personnel and resources, doing everything they can to figure out how to make it go away. Or to make it, you know, whether it's attacking concentrates, we just won that battle, attacking patients for DUI, for having marijuana in their system, like, duh, of course they're going to have marijuana in their system. You can detect it for 30 days, you know, and all these other little angles. This is one
like
little group that's behind all this stuff. They've got to know that there's accountability for this, and they can't. We're not just like this bunch of you know, disenfranchised, powerless people who have to just like non-citizen people who have to just stand by and watch them, you know, walk all over us. Exactly. Whether it's medical marijuana patients, veterans, everybody really, with impunity. The message has to be sent that says, if you do this to us, there are consequences. There is accountability, and we're it's just against it.
Is the trump card for the U.S. government, forget that it's still Schedule 1, is the trump card the patent?
Yes.
Yeah, we've got the patent. You want to see it? We got it with us. It's ridiculous. The U.S. government's got a patent on neuroprotectants and antioxidants, yet it's not medicine. And she can't have any and there's not enough medical research.
So what does that do to us at the state level? Like here?
Not really anything. I mean, I think that whole patent is just in anticipation. Everybody realizes, obviously, this has medical value. Obviously, it's only a matter of time before nationwide. This is a legitimate medicine. So let's see if we can get some patents on this, because, you know, we'll make a bunch of money on it down the line. I mean, you know.
But that was 17 years ago, Tom.
Has anybody ever researched the
we
patent
know.
One of them is a member of NIDA.
Yeah,
there's
it's too much.
3 total members.
We're reeling with truth over here at Norml. We are.
It's true. I'll have to pull the information for the other people. But, you know, interestingly enough, they all live and they're all on LinkedIn. We should message them.
Not we should, Pepper. Adorable. We definitely will. We will message them in this campaign.
Sorry, maybe one more. You're going to be the treasurer? Okay, which...
What's that?
Stop. What are you doing? You're doing now. You're going to make me forget what I was going to say because I didn't take notes. So in reference to what Tom was saying, that likely there will be a lot of people potentially that would want to come out in support of this. Henceforth, we could raise some money to support this effort, whether it be the social media campaigns, whether it be, you know, doing something nice for some of these poor veterans who are suffering from PTSD and do not have the medication they duly deserve?
You know, the PTSD sufferers aren't localized to Arizona either.
Right.
No, absolutely, right.
And this is a national issue.
Or just to veterans for that matter.
I mean, I was just, you know what I mean, I'm just saying for whatever, but I mean, I think there's opportunity for us to, A, put some money in the coffers, B, pay for some of the efforts that we're doing, and C, show that people are willing to get up and stand for the people that are in the front lines fighting for our country every day. So we may want to look at sponsorship development.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, did we have with treasurer? I know you're doing a massive fundraising effort already, sir. Do we want to have like a fundraising team for this committee, like a couple, 2, 3 people, like we've got 2 or 3 for each other things, and anyone who has an interest in such things? Just get our word out, get some good advertisements, because the more we get this out,
I
the
do
better,
think this is
obviously.
one thing where that a lot of people will be willing to donate money. I mean,
This will be one thing
this
we
is
can have
something that
a treasury
comes close
especially
to
for
the heart
this
of a lot of
AVAC project. Always open books, as we are at Norml in Arizona.
And we can use it for
Always open books.
advertisements. You know, we can use it for events for this campaign. We can use it for things like little flags to give away to people who signed the petition, you know, whatever. I mean, there's all kinds of ways we could have spent money to advance this. I don't think we need a lot of money.
We're going to
But
need petitions, we're going to need, we're going to need to print those things out.
There's a need for financial contribution.
And if we have more money.
If we get the money, there's effective ways to use it, you know, I mean.
Pay people to get signatures too if we had more
Well,
money.
it would be great if we found somebody who could donate that kind of money to where we could actually pay people for signatures. Now, the going rate is like $1 a signature, but, you know, maybe we have people who will do it for 20 grand.
We don't want that much.
But people may
We like to
do it
think
for
that.
a lot less than that if it's about, you know, kind of mostly a volunteer type of thing. We say,
She
hey,
spent
10
more
cents a
getting into
signature,
office.
you know. You know,
That's the trouble.
That covers
That's the trouble.
I mean,
That's all she's
so,
done,
yeah,
is raise money for
that would
herself
help,
to get
you know,
herself into
so.
office. So she could block medical research.
Anyway, have we just thinking outside the box as far as trying to find funding to fund this research? Apart from getting state funds, like finding a way to work around
Well,
it.
the cool thing is the funds that the House allocated are the $6 million that has been collected from medical marijuana card fees. So the money's sitting there, but Yee said she already had her heart set on using that money to fund an anti-marijuana ad campaign urging kids not to smoke pot.
Well, to fund MAP Force, I mean, really, Tom, say it like it is, it's to fund MAP Force, right? Isn't it really to fund MAP Force's campaign? Wait, hold on, everybody, one at a time.
Didn't Drug Free America just, the CEO just admit that they're no longer putting forth any more funding to prevent cannabis use? Rather, they're just doing education for marijuana. That's it. No more trying to keep them from doing it.
Yeah. Well, this is just, I think, her way of just flushing the money down the toilet and thumbing her nose at medical marijuana patients. I think that's what she's doing.
Excuse me, well, the disgusting thing about it is, if you really want to be a hard ass, is the sheer fact that this would be PSAs. PSAs are public service announcements. Public service announcements are meant to be given for free by media outlets, not paid for. So spending $6 million on what's meant to be.
She also wants to use it to fund a parallel DARE program. She wants to send people out into schools, pay them overtime, cops and stuff like that, pay them overtime to go out to the schools and talk about marijuana as a gateway drug, and it's going to make you grow boobs if you're a guy.
Does she have any medical research? Does she have any medical research to support those?
No, you know, but I have to say, the executive director, I think, her name is Shelley. Does anybody know of Billy? You know, if the first name of the Keep AZ, the new Keep AZ director in Arizona is named Shelley?
Yes.
Well, I ran into her in Fountain Hills, brother. And I have to say, I made her turn tail and run. And I'll say this right on camera because that's what happened. The fact is that we have the truth on our side, people. Every single one of us in this room. It's not just me. What happened in Fountain Hills was ugly, and I'm going to shine a light on this right now. Because I went up there to extend the hours of, I got a new job. I'm counterperson, bud tender, I guess they call it, over at the Nature's AZ Medicines in Fountain Hills, which is amazing. I love it. It's so peaceful and beautiful, and I'm in Sheriff Joe's neighborhood, and I want him to come in and visit us over at our dispensary. I'd love to see him. But because it is beautiful, and I know he would love it. And there's so many elderly people that come in there, and boy, did they blow that up. We went to the town council to have the hours extended. They act like we were killing babies. They acted like we were coming in to take over their neighborhood and kill everyone, and that the destruction that was going to happen by us being open on Saturday was just going to be too phenomenal for Fountain Hills to bear, and that it was going to, it was just turning into California and everything was going to shit. Oh, sorry. Anyway, that's what happened. So one after another, these people got up, and I don't know if the room was loaded with Keep AZ drug-free followers or what that had happened, but there must have been 7 people that got up, and I hope to heck, I hate to make you guys watch me, but on the thing I shared up on Facebook, there at Norml in Arizona, there is a video of this production. And our owner at our dispensary did such a beautiful job, and we had Mel McDonald, who I'm sure many of you have heard of, was ex-DEA, right, honey? Mel McDonald, and he's now a proponent because his young son has epilepsy. So he has found that this is medicine. So he got up, he spoke, his wife spoke, and I spoke along with our owner there, and all 3 were great. I think I did an excellent job. I was very proud of myself. I've never done so well, but I'll tell you what I was fueled by. Anger. Anger. I went in there and I thought I'd swallow my tongue from fear of speaking in front of all these people in Fountain Hills. You know, the good folks of Fountain Hills are there. Just like we went down to Gilbert and we spoke in front of them. It was nerve-wracking, but you get up there and what you do, instead of having some kind of canned story or anything, lines, you know, don't do anything but tell your story. You got 3 minutes. Tell what you know. Get up there, and I'm urging every single one of you, I don't care what group you subscribe to, I don't care what you think. If you love cannabis, get into your town council meeting today. Get in there next week, get in there the following week, get in there every single time you have time to take 3 minutes out of your day and sit in your town council meeting. I've been beating this drum for 1.5 years, and I can't tell you how effective it is. When I was in there were 4 of us, there must have been 8 or 10 of them, and they had the other people on that town council just going like this, and when we would get up, you could see the wheels turning, and in the end, they gave us our extended hours, and in the end, they voted 5-2 on that panel, but the mayor of Fountain Hills, but the mayor of Fountain Hills is the wife of John Kavanaugh, and if any of you have had any yes, he can't stand marijuana, and boy, I think she's twice as bad at hating cannabis as he is, because she wanted to shut down Mel for not filling out a speaker card. She didn't want to hear it. She was just kind of letting me speak only because I was good enough to fill out the speaker card. Every single one of us can do it. We can do it in Gilbert. We can do it in Chandler. We can do it in every single town around Phoenix and our state. We've got to make this mushroom happen. This has got to mushroom because we have such great stories. And me telling my testimony, I know it was effective. I know telling them that we can save lives works because they understand. Some of them have a conscience, and they're looking within themselves, and they're checking their soul, and they're going, geez, the facts on this are right. She's right. These guys have an agenda. I know they're thinking that. So you guys can help just by yourselves. Doesn't matter what organization you're from. You get in there. Every single one of you in Arizona, get to your town council meeting. I'm telling them now because they're all out there, and this is so effective, you guys. Also, when we were at the meeting on Saturday, Jesse Lopez's lady Amber, she went, and she happens to be the gal that made Senator McCain say, maybe we should legalize marijuana. How did she do this? She went to her town council meeting, and she and I shared the story of how darn effective it is to you go down there, and you know, you can dress up, or by chance, we had a woman there who didn't think she was going to speak about marijuana. She was wearing a tie-dye. And she came in, she goes, I'm sitting here, and I can't believe I wore a tie-dye here. I didn't even know this was on the agenda tonight, but I really can't believe what I'm hearing. I can't believe that you guys can go over and over again and say, the awful things that could happen by this dispensary being open for 2 more hours. So we can give our testimony for 3 minutes. Practice it if you want to. Practice your own story. Get it down to 3 minutes and get in there and wow them. Not only that, Tom, we can all be in there telling our story and telling them that we're recalling Kimberly Yee. And on that, you're recorded and you are played throughout the month and for archive purposes for every single voter in your area. So when generally the senior folks are sitting around having their lunch, they like to look at public access. Mm-hmm. And they would like to know that we're recalling Kimberly Yee because she's against medical marijuana research and she's blocking this from PTSD suffering veterans. So when we're telling this on camera all month at every community in Arizona, that's going to be effective and free. I'm going to shut up now. Go ahead.
How you doing?
I have a fundraising idea, which would be the $6 million fund is not just the money that patients pay to get their card. It's also the money that people who work at the dispensary pay $500 a year to be able to work there, and the dispensaries pay money to have a license, and that money goes into the fund too. So the point is, if you were able to get $100 from every single dispensary in the state, that's all the money you'll need for your whole campaign. So those dispensaries' money is being wasted by Kimberly Yee if it gets used for other purposes, as is every person who works at a dispensary. Their money's getting wasted as well.
That's a great idea. I mean, dispensaries should, this is a condition obviously that they will capitalize on because there'll be more persons who will be able to get medical marijuana cards, a very active group. And so, yeah, they should, this is basically directly will benefit their bottom line. Clearly not the reason why we're doing it, but nonetheless, indirectly, this is going to directly benefit their bottom line. This is an investment for them. They should be promoting the addition of additional conditions. So I think that's a great idea to reach out funding-wise to the dispensaries.
I actually think we should have a team of people that are card holders that can access the dispensaries to do that. Because I don't know how many people are legit card holders, but to even get in the door, you have to have that green card. So I think couples should get together and do that. Maybe take over all the dispensaries in the state.
Are you doing, is anyone doing a consumer review of the dispensaries right now?
We actually have a review, a little sheet over there, a survey. If you guys would like to, before you leave tonight, there's a dispensary survey over on the information page.
I just thought, I didn't know if we had anyone actually going out to dispensaries.
Nobody actually filled it out at the workshop, but that was the first time we put it out. Are you the only one? Yes. She's the one.
I mean, actually going out to the dispensaries to go there and say, this place is nice, the environment's nice, the people are friendly, or whatever, some consumer review. And I thought if we did have people doing that they could, while they're there, also say, by the way, we're accepting donations for the Arizona Veterans Assistance Committee to recall Kimberly Yee. I mean, it would be two birds with one stone kind of.
Robert's actually
the future of Norml is when it gets legalized finally nationwide. The future of Norml is, of course, helping, pushing to make sure law enforcement adheres to the new laws, etc. Advocating against restrictive regulations and zoning ordinance or whatever, sure. But also is going to be involved in consumer reports. And because, after all, Norml is a consumer rights organization. It's first and foremost and only from the perspective of the consumer. So when it comes to being involved in the medical marijuana industry on the sales end or whatever, Norml's only concern, and I think a big part of their future, is being able to take care of the consumers by helping them understand who the better dispensaries and providers and caregivers or whatever happen to be.
Absolutely.
So,
you get them on
and that's why,
associates.
Well, we do have we did come up with
exactly.
We wanted to start that, and you came up with this awesome recall, and that was part of our agenda, but we had so much to talk about the recall, so we didn't get to that. But we do have the surveys, so we can get that started, because we would like to be working with dispensaries, be getting our consumers discounts.
Here in Phoenix right now as we speak.
What's that, sir?
Called Maricopa Cultivate or there's a magazine, a consumer magazine.
Culture?
Yeah.
Oh, Michelle Culture called me, unfortunately, and I was hoping she was going to come by here tonight. Culture Magazine is an awesome one.
But it's fine.
But it is, it's not a consumer advocate magazine.
It's a
culture
Start
magazine.
getting into the consumer reports business.
It would be nice if we had like a normal consumer reports for Arizona. It would be a
National
brilliant.
wants to do that nationwide. They've got a committee.
I
National
love
does
that.
But you
to
can
just want you to be aware of that.
But again, that's driven by who wants to spend money. You want to be big shot on Weed Maps or Leafly, pay them money and you will be the featured person.
That's right.
Normal's saying we
It's
don't
supposed to
care,
be.
but we don't want any money. We won't take your money.
Right.
People
That's it.
who are trying to sell marijuana, we're just here to publish for the consumer. We're
Power
not
to the
interested
people.
in your paying us or advertising or being a sponsored merchant or whatever the hell
Like
that
the
is.
free Angie's list.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but you
that's-
know what, it almost reminds me back in the day when you used to do the travel, like the write-ups for travel. People
Oh,
would come in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the APAC, I mean, I've got more of those. I mean, I thought whoever wants to keep one of those handouts that I passed out.
But yeah, no, there's Weed Maps, there's Leafly, but they're more of an advertising kind of thing that they juggle. We are Norml is basically consumer rights organization. That's what it was founded as. And unfortunately, what's happened is it's kind of a lot of times it gets to a place where it becomes like a Leafly. It become like a Weed Map.
Who is that Weed Map?
Unfortunately, well, they take advertising to do that.
And they also advertise non-licensed things, and so it's difficult sometimes to know who's
interesting little reputation. Yeah. So we try and keep to the grassroots of where people are at, what people need, and that's what I love about Norml, quite honestly, and that's what I love about this recall, because that's what we need. We need to be the voice of the people, and what other voice is there right now? But let's unseat Kimberly Yee. I'm down with that. I don't know how you guys feel about it. You good with that? What do you think, Tom? We're coming up on 9 o'clock. Anybody have questions for Tom tonight? Questions? There's Scott. No.
It wasn't a question, but
say something then, sir.
Yeah,
Stand up.
so
Let's hear it.
There's one last. There's actually, so luckily I'm a politics nerd and I kind of like it. There's a legislative strategy to be used still that made by Senator Yee. It's called the discharge petition. Arizona, even though we're in a conservative, crazy legislature, we actually have the most progressive constitution in the United States of America because it was written in 1912 at the progressive era. That's why we have a ballot initiative, by the way. We also have a discharge petition, which means if somebody is blocking a bill in either house of the legislature, if the majority of the rest of the members send a discharge petition to the Speaker of the House or the President of the Senate demanding a vote on said bill, then they can still pass. So if we can try and find a way between now and the rally next week to get everyone that we know to, and every time you call the legislator, by the way, like you were saying, send a fax and an email as well. And get everyone to do that, because that means their office is no longer functioning, because all they're doing is answering phone calls, emails, and faxes, and they can't do anything else. That's the whole point of contacting them. They don't care about what we think. Their job is to get reelected by the people that give them money for the campaign. Our remedy to that is to innovate their office with action. And so what we need to do is get 16 of the 30 senators, whether they be Democrats or Republicans, and get them to sign a discharge petition, and then it completely bypasses Yee, and we can get this bill passed. Because we can recall Senator Yee and try and pass this bill next year, but that means 9,000 more veterans are going to commit suicide in those 12 months.
That's right.
I'm not in this because of Kimberly Yee. I'm trying to save people's lives who deserve treatment that they
So you and Lovey are going to investigate that to determine whether it's a viable option. Okay.
Can we hold on 1 second? I would really like, Scott, would you stand up for a second, sir, and just briefly explain what you told me in the car earlier, what happened to you? Do you mind doing that?
Not at all.
Can you wrap that up in a nutshell? Because
the first part, no.
I can't freaking believe it. I'm just going to say that out loud.
Sure. So, about 5 years ago, I happened to be in a traffic stop. I was a passenger, by the way. And this was when I was much younger. I wasn't a college student yet. I didn't know what my rights were. And I thought, well, I'm not going to lie to a police officer. I respect them. They're public safety. And so I told the truth and got charged with marijuana possession. And
How much
5
did
years
you have?
later, I'm less than a gram.
Okay.
It wasn't even that good either. It was like some pretender
Some swag, just some bullshit. Sorry,
but the point is, you know what I mean?
I can't help it.
I know
I'm
I
so
joke. I try to remain lighthearted, but like, all that has happened by the state of Arizona inserting itself into my private recreational marijuana use is that they created a warrior and they created an activist. And like, I'm trying to make sure that nobody else has to go through what I went through. Like, how far? I mean, I'm not here to brag. It's not about me. But I have worked my ass off, and I've accomplished a lot of things for this movement, and that's what why I'm here today. But how far do I have to go before I'm no longer a target? Before I'm no longer a target of law enforcement and a target of people who are discriminating against us? What more do I have to do? Have I not demonstrated beyond any measure that you can think of that I'm a concerned citizen, that I'm active, that I'm in it to help other people, that's not about me? And none of that matters. What matters is that we have crusaders against marijuana because they're either uneducated or ill-informed, and they're targeting us, and enough is enough. So, if you agree with me, like, just coming to this meeting is not enough. You have to tell every single person that you tell them who I am. I would have graduated from college almost 2 years ago, but I've had to take one class per semester because that's all I could afford to pay for. You know what I mean? And like, what's the point of that?
What'd you spend all your money on that you had saved up to pay for classes?
So before
what'd you have to spend? Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Task. Before I'd even been charged with the crime, I had to go through task while I was on pretrial services, which is not only an invasion of my privacy, but you have to go urinate in front of somebody who watches you pee in a cup. You have to pay them $30 every time that you do it, and you're paying $170 a month to be in the program. I haven't even been convicted of anything yet, and I had to go through that. And then just because I was fired from my job, I got kicked out of task because you can't be in task and be unemployed, and now I'm back to square one. And so it's like, now I have to go back to court on my birthday, by the way, next month. And it's just like, when does this end? So, I mean, yeah, I'm in it for veterans for PTSD, but I'll be real. I'm in it for myself, too, because I ain't trying to go to jail, and I haven't done anything wrong. So
And he spent his tuition money because he had to pay for task. Oh, my.
Did you hear that? We could have a future.
Really,
Can I say one other thing about task?
the things that he could do.
Arizona state government.
That's right, sir.
Task is not run by the state of Arizona. It is a private business, and it's a racket. And when I said I was a target, I wasn't just talking about being a brown person. I was talking about being a student. Because when you're a student who gets arrested for marijuana, the prosecutor knows that you cannot plead guilty because you lose your financial aid. And they target us for that because they know that we have to say yes to task. Because the alternative means I have to drop out of school because I'm now a felon and I don't have any money to pay for it. So we are targets. I mean, what sane law enforcement policy targets people who are in college and then makes them felons and completely changes the trajectory of their lives? That is the definition of safe behavior.
One that's for profit.
Yeah, one that
makes perfect sense if the game is all about making money. So drug testing industry, task industry, prison industry, probation industry, law enforcement industry, ignition interlock device industry. I mean, on and on and on and on and on. There's many companies that are million-dollar companies that depend on marijuana prohibition and subjecting people like you to that process. There's no question about it. It's purely profit-driven. Greed is what keeps marijuana prohibition on the books.
And it's what launched marijuana prohibition. Let's not forget
launched
that.
it. It's what keeps it in the books with a good dose of fear injected into the ignorant so that they continue to tolerate this kind of abuse. So.
And fear lives, it's rampant in Arizona, and we really need to fight back. We need to fight back, and using this campaign, everybody, you've got to, I mean, Tom came up with this. I don't know if you thought we would go for it or not, but when he threw this out on Saturday, I just figured this is the answer to what we need. This is something the whole community can do together. This is something we all believe in. This is something we can all unite behind. And honestly, we kind of tossed around that this is something that this is a good drill for us as a community because we all have a big passion behind this. We're all ready to do something big. And I think this would make a good mark. And I really hope that our community will come out and force to get this done, or at least get this a beautiful showing of what we can do. Because, you know, if we can do this, there's a number of other things we can do in our future that would be very good for Arizona, and to show a big grassroots organization. And that's what we can build here on this campaign.
And that's the answer to your question. I mean, yeah, it takes a while to do a recall. You know, in the meantime, people continue to suffer. But this is about accountability. This is about accountability to the democratic process. And I think that we're not taken seriously. And unless we actually draw blood, and drawing blood, believe me, is just even filing the darn recall thing, it hurts and is scary and humiliating to the elected officials. Gathering the requisite signatures is practically enough to give an elected official a flat-out heart attack. Forcing them to spend all of their money on a recall election, and then right before they have to go up on a general, is almost completely devastating. So it's not just about Yee, it's about any of these other rogue lawmakers and public officials who think that they can kick us around without any accountability, without any consequence. Yeah.
Well, the neat part is we have some buzz that there could be a candidate that is a Republican, that is a PTSD card holder. You know, he's a card holder because of PTSD in general, and he will, unofficially, of course. But he is willing to come out and talk. He's willing to come out and talk about that, and you know, so we'll keep our fingers crossed that this will work out. We'll see, John. We'll see if he's on board and it's all washes out. Then yeah. We won't make you keep quiet because it's a buzz. So.
Tonight, can we agree on like a uniform hashtag maybe so that we can kind of spark some conversation about this?
AVAC recall? What do you think?
Yeah, sure.
No, what do you think? You talk.
No, I was just gonna say we did get an email.
Maybe it should use his name.
Yeah, I would
recall Yee.
That's just gonna be, there's a lot.
What?
How about Yee? R-E-E-Z.
Actually, that's a good, let me tell you, if she has an issue as a behaviorist, okay, straight behaviorist.
Well, she clearly
So she has an issue, then yes, what is this for? Is she hating also veterans? So my concern is, without using her name so much, all the time on the recall, that's what we're focusing on, but focusing on the positive of trying to save lives. And that's what we're trying to do.
We gotta use it
as a hashtag.
Speaking of that,
I don't do hashtags, but you can come up with whatever.
So
But I would say
social
balance
media,
balance
you
both
really
of
need to
them.
do something that says what it is.
Yeah.
Recall Yee.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like
Recall
it.
Yee.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask.
I've done my first ads.
Yeah, you did it. That's enormous right there. Hashtag recall Yee. Is that what we're talking? We also were looking for vets. If I haven't already mentioned it, we need possibly uniform vets to come down to the Capitol lawn next Wednesday. It's Wednesday, right?
Yeah, and show up by little army men because we're trying to get as many as we can, but we don't think we can find enough. Every 80 minutes, about 22 times a day, a veteran commits suicide in the United States. We've lost more veterans to suicide than combat in the last 10 years. And since Dr. Cicely first proposed the study that we're fighting for 3 years ago, 24,000 veterans have taken their lives. So we plan on dumping 24,000 plastic army men on the floor in the United States, or in the Arizona Senate on Wednesday. So please bring some with you.
Where do you find them?
But
Any dollar store, like a toy store. Are
we still looking for veterans that are willing to be uniformed and laid down? Are we laying down 22 vets?
The SSDP chapter at Arizona State University is going to make 22 tombstones that will represent the 22 veterans we're losing to suicide every day.
That way nobody has to lay down.
And we are probably, how many people are watching this? We may be doing a civil disobedience. We don't know yet because we're getting legal advice on what we'd be arrested for and what the charges would be. But if we can have the 22 people be veterans, it'd be better. But what the tentative plan is to put those 22 cardboard or whatever tombstones in the street, have 22 veterans lay down in front of them and block traffic. Yeah. And then stand behind them. We would get arrested for obstructing traffic or something along those lines.
So we definitely need 22 veterans that are willing to be one of our 22 that are there between 4 and 6 p.m. on April 2nd. We need 22 veterans to contact us. Contact Scott at ssdp.org or me, Kathy, Kathy at Norml.Arizona.org. Contact us, vets. We need you guys. Any vets in the room? Anyone? No?
Any veterans?
If you know a vet. I knew there was one. Thanks, Chuck. Thanks for your service. And the Reverend. Really? You're kidding me. I expected you to be one of those conscientious objectors. So thank you for your service. Thank you. Are you either one of you gentlemen interested in a demonstration?
I have to give it some thought.
Okay.
I mean, I'll be at the rally.
Give it some thought. We're looking for 22 that are willing. I know it's a big stretch right there, you guys. You have to be that kind of activist.
And it's emotional.
So it is very emotional.
It is emotional, and the thing that bothers me is I still have family and friends that are, my whole family's very military. So I have a lot of family and friends that took this to heart from different states and overseas. And they're very disgusted by Arizona, and they're hurt, their feelings are hurt. And for a vet, whether they're male or female, for them to say their feelings are hurt, that's pretty hard. And that's kind of rare. They don't really speak out loud about. And I'm just saying for the ones that I deal with. They don't say, oh, my feelings are hurt, or I'm going to cry. But for them to say I was sad rather than I'm pissed really was heart-wrenching for me to hear.
Yeah.
And all I could do was say, I'm sorry, I'll do the best I can. So if we can tell our veterans that I'm sorry, we'll do the best we can, I think that's not enough. Because there's too many people that are dying and with suicide, and I have PTSD as my background. So I know that it took a lot for me to even come out of the house to learn about marijuana. Billy will testify to that. And I had a horrible disposition for a long time. He's shaking his head yes. And I was confused and I was scared as well. So I really can understand and feel where they're coming from at a certain level. So I want us to respect full throttle our veterans and our current active military people. Please respect them, because when we come out and say, let's do this recall for PTSD, I don't want it to sound like we're being cold. We're trying to do this to be there for them, and I just want us to sound warm, and we're doing this for them and for the children, the future of their children and their children's children, so on. I want Arizona to be welcoming, not embarrassing.
Well, obviously, we don't want one person to block that democratic process, no matter what it is. But obviously, we all want to jump in for our vets.
Still need to be mad. You know, just like Rico, just like what Ricardo was saying.
Right.
We do need to be mad because, quite frankly, this is information that we have at our disposal that we can generate.
Yes.
And one person is blocking it. We should absolutely be disgusted, appalled, and pissed off because we're compassionate for those people that have served for us. We need to know, not even just for the people that have served for us. I mean, just like you said, there's plenty of PTSD sufferers that have never seen combat, but combat comes in many forms, not just in a war.
Amen.
You know, I mean, if you grow up in South Central, I'm sorry, you probably suffer from some form of PTSD. It needs to be made available. These tests need to happen. We need to be able to provide any sort of comfort for the people that are not in comfort. And that's it. Be pissed off. I think so. It's a beautiful thing, but sometimes you do need to be a little ticked off.
Yeah, I agree.
So.
You mentioned 4 to 6, you wanted to lay down in the street at that time?
Turn around to the gentleman behind you. This was just an idea that was in the email string.
The rally is 4 to 6. Probably towards the end of that, when there's media there with cameras interviewing people, is when we would voluntarily be arrested.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been asked to be one of the people to be arrested. I'll do it. What do I have to lose at this point? But you know,
I don't think you
if it's
getting
a
arrested
veteran,
right now is a good idea now that I know
prefer
this.
that. I mean,
You know?
I can't think of many things more powerful than
Well, you can't get, you're still on the task
veterans being
program.
Yeah, he can't get arrested,
They'll
Tom.
kick
Will you
you out
tell
of
him?
the task program.
Yeah. I mean, right now, I don't know that you can get arrested.
I'm already out.
Oh, you're out.
Kicked out.
Okay, you're
I
out.
lost my job, and you can't.
Oh,
be
they kicked
tasked
you out of
with
task
employee.
already,
Because
right.
you can't put any money to it. That's the thing. Can I just make one other point, by the way, especially to the people that are listening there? I'm sorry to monopolize your meeting, but
No,
this is
I
creating
need to hear
huge
this.
problems. I talked about how students are being targeted. It's not just what we're going through, but wasn't I taking up a place in drug rehab for somebody who really does have a problem with drugs and alcohol?
Yes.
Aren't thousands of us really taking up the bare bones amount of resources our state actually allocates to treat people that have real addictions? They're putting us into that, and the people who really need help are not getting it.
Absolutely.
Can I go off topic slightly and reiterate my offer to represent anyone who gets busted on, any patient who gets busted on a college campus, because there's the law that expanded the restricted areas beyond primary and secondary schools and correctional institutions to include public colleges and universities and daycare centers. If anyone that you know of who's a patient gets busted, then I want to represent them for free because it's blatantly in violation of the
I
Arizona
have one
Border
right now. He
Protection
just
Act.
got arrested on St. Patty's
He's
Day.
a patient?
Yep.
Okay, bring him to
Student
me.
at ASU. They made him move out of his dorm. He got arrested
Oh, really?
outside because he was taking a picture for
Okay.
obstructing traffic. They raided his dorm room.
my
They
God.
took his possessions. They kicked him out of his dorm. He's going through hell.
In 1 week?
Oh.
All right, send him over to me.
Okay, I will.
You're doing
That's
it
it,
wrong
we got
fast.
one.
I've
I've
dealt
been
with
waiting for
got
this for a
one
long
so far.
time because that law is, in my opinion, blatantly in violation of the Arizona Border Protection Act, which is part of our Constitution, because it requires any modification of an initiative, a people's passed initiative, requires that it pass by more than 75% of both houses, and it furthers the purpose of the initiative it modifies. Well, that one did pass by more than 90% of both houses of the legislature, but the purpose of the initiative is in Section 2G of Proposition 203 to protect patients and providers from criminal and other penalties. This clearly subjects more people to criminal and other penalties by making it illegal to possess marijuana on college campuses. So it doesn't pass the test. It's in violation. The whole law needs to be thrown out. This is another area where we can make a big impact on the legislative process because this was passed by more than 90% of both houses. And it's blatantly unlawful. And I think we can get it declared as such. And another huge victory right going on at the same time we're doing this against the legislature again to make them accountable and show them that there's consequences for thinking that they can just pass the law all over us and pass these laws.
Thanks, Tom. So wonderful to have a lawyer that will hold our lawmakers accountable. Thank you, Tom. Tom, it really does. He works for the people over here. That is the fun part. That is the fun part. I gotta say, working pro bono for something like that, there's nothing wrong with that. Good feeling. You guys were up at 9:15. We're a little over time. What do you think, Tom? Do you want to wrap it up? Any other questions, you guys? You about ready to stretch it out?
Suggestion: can we maybe, I don't know where Rob went, but set up like an account to take donations online? Because I'm assuming we're going to get a lot of support nationwide.
Yes, we do. Use Stripe, don't use PayPal.
Yeah.
We're going to set up a separate bank account, right, Tom?
Yeah, they do require you to disclose a bank where you'll be receiving, depositing donations, funding. I guess would that fall under the treasurer's job is to?
It's kind of, yes, and honestly, it's great because Robert lives here in Gilbert with me. Our bank is right up the street here, Bank of America, and we can they already know us as Norml, so we can just start up another account strictly for AVAC.
I could work with Robert to try and set up Stripe to make that happen because Stripe is cheaper to take credit cards as opposed to PayPal, and you're much less likely to run into any problems with PayPal.
And since you're temporary-ish treasurer for Phoenix, maybe we want to do that for two accounts.
Absolutely.
And maybe
Oh, yeah,
three.
there's no downside to that.
And
You know,
it's
I don't
great.
know.
Like,
Well,
it's-
two anyway.
it result-
We'll
it
do
results
a
in cash in
central
48
normal
hours into the
one-ish,
account. It's
and then,
a great option.
That'll be perfect. And I was just saying, I think he was out, and I was just saying that we would just do another separate bank account for AVAC here at Bank of America up on the corner. Since you and I are in Gilbert, we'll just set that up, you and me, so that would be good. Because since we don't, we're gonna take that 5, and Jesse Lopez supposed to give us $500 on Saturday to get this campaign started, so if we don't need that, Tom, for the filing, then we can just put that in there and get that started for spending.
If he authorizes that.
Jesse, you gotta think about that. So, like, we don't need the filing fee, but we may need some other things, so we're just talking about that. Text me, brother.
What are you guys gonna get together next, as far as this committee for this particular?
Well, let's see, the rally is when?
The rally is Wednesday.
Wednesday. I had hoped that we could actually get everything filed by the end of this week. It does require the original signature, though, of the treasurer and the chairman. And
Not one, and I'm willing to drive halfway.
Or
Rico,
overnight it, and I think you can actually, you might be able to file it in Tucson too. If we might be. I'll look into that.
We'll look into that one, yeah.
And so then we wait to at the time that you file it, they tell you on the spot, you know, what your deadline is, how many signatures you need exactly, and issue you a serial number. So if you walk it in there, they'll issue that all right there, according to my conversation with the person at the Secretary of State's office. That hopefully we can get done by Friday, and then Wednesday's the rally. So I think I don't know.
We could use some of that money to print out some petitions, right? Or no? Will it be that quick? Will we be able to have petitions by then?
We need to prepare for the rally
Right.
as well. So there should probably be another meeting.
At least one.
Well, it'd be nice if this was filed and we were able to print out petitions by then. It'd be perfect to bring them
We're
to
gonna
the
make
Senate, if we
signs
can.
and do any type of, protesting with these guys. I think there should be some.
Yeah.
We need to
Well,
make
we're
sure that
coordinating.
Continuing
There's
that
coordinating.
dialogue
Yeah.
going on and, various, Facebook, what have you. I mean, it would be wonderful if we had like a, some kind of a PHP forum that we could, localize a lot of this information to.
We need an AVAC Facebook. Do you want to make an AVAC Facebook so we can all connect all of those on AVAC committee Facebook?
And
So
every
the
person
committee
with
can be together.
Every person with a clipboard has to have a district map. So if they're not in the district, they can say, do you happen to live here?
Billy's sending us a map
Yeah.
that we can fix onto the back of our clipboard. That's what
There you
Bill's
go.
going to do.
Okay.
And we've got AVAC Facebook starting so we can all connect and we can talk to each other as of
I think
tomorrow.
another line item, we'll likely need a press release.
Yes.
Before we go out.
Yeah, because that's
Sean,
again why I think
your
it's so
press
critical that we
release?
get this filed before the rally so that we can do a press, we can.
Natalie Brand was
Chuck's
interested,
old
but she had a
school on the
deadline.
press release. I know he knows how to do this. What's up, Chuck? Can you?
Oh, yeah, that's it. Just, we'll send a press release.
But can you do that, Chuck?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So,
Maybe you want to get with our media girls.
well, no, but
You want to work with our media
want
girls on
to
this?
approve the press release.
Yeah.
That's
before
a
it goes
fine
out.
idea. Yeah, or do you want to write it?
From a legal perspective.
That'd be on you.
Legal, there's
From
nothing about
No, yeah, I mean,
I need to make sure
Just
that
a
we're
blur.
saying what.
There's gonna be a rally, that's all you
I
got.
think they're gonna wanna. I think they might want to do interviews. I mean, we have to be ready to do interviews with the media, not just over the phone or whatever, but TV, possibly follow, because they're gonna want to do follow-up stories. They're gonna want to talk to the leader of the committee, chairman.
Well, I'll be in touch. I'll make a master
or
list,
his
just like we had
proxy.
the best contacts for our normal group the other day. We'll do a best contact list for our committee as well, so that we can all get in touch with each other very quickly. Rick is on the email like that.
And that should be on
So
the
he and
Facebook
I have
page,
been
obviously,
in touch.
have all that information easy to access.
Yes, common contacts. I'll do the common contacts. You make the Facebook page, and we'll get each other together. We'll get
But
smoking
that
on this
is,
thing.
like, and I know you probably thought about this, but like a lot of this is on you. Because it is, well, because any of like the stuff, like anything that goes out in writing or any of like the paperwork stuff, like from a legal perspective, you have to bless it before it goes out that door. Because I mean, it's very easy, we can blow ourselves up before we get started. Oops.
Oh, no.
Yeah, at least initially, I think, you know, we might want to be careful about that, but,
Would anybody
I don't
like
think it's
an
gonna be
article
that
on marijuana in the NFL? I just brought these articles.
Where were you 3 weeks ago?
all right, are we done?
Yeah.
Actually,
Did we adjourn,
everyone,
or-
before you go,
Oh.
please help us out, get us started. Let's add to the wonderful fund. If you have anything, a couple bucks to help us with printing with this endeavor, pop it in there. Appreciate it.
You guys want to sign up for membership? Tyler, signing up for membership?
Yes.
Right on. Both of us?